Hello and welcome to SuperOK, where we try to do a decent enough job to entertain people with our opinions on video games. As always, my name is Dale, and I am joined here by two absolutely effervescent human beings, starting with Gannon. Gannon, how are you doing?
I don't know how you knew I showered this morning, but I am very effervescent.
Are you using an Irish Spring?
No, I'm not. Despite the red color in my beard, I did not. I used some Fuji Island Old Spice or something like that. I don't know. Some body wash combo. It's great. Feels good. I smell good. And yeah, I'm excited to have some time here with my boys.
Speaking of boys, you said plural. That means that there's another person here. Brody, have you bathed yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka this morning?
I have not. No, I am not effervescent. I am effer stinking. And after this episode, I'm going to have to take a shower just to keep up with the Joneses here. It's a weekend and things slide a little bit on the weekends. So you know what? Just for you guys and for our listeners, I'm going to take a shower after this.
You can check that out on the SuperOK OnlyFans.
The extra eyes in the word slide that you threw out were the grossest thing I've heard all week.
I'm about to slide into some hygiene. Just slide.
Vile.
I aim to please.
Absolutely vile. All right. Well, if you are a regular listener of SuperOK, you know that every week we do a highlight of the week, which means that we share something that made our week a little bit better, a little bit brighter, a little bit nicer, a little bit more enjoyable in our weeks. One of you guys tell us what made your week a little bit better.
So I'm going to bring this up now so that when you guys don't get to hear from me anymore, because my internet's been turned off and I've been kicked out of my house. You know why. Recently, I started playing Genshin Impact, and I'm having a blast. It's a lot of fun. It really scratches that anime itch if you are someone who enjoys that style of art. It also is got a better story than I thought it was. I really have enjoyed it, and the gameplay has just been fantastic, and it's been really fun because I've been hanging out in the Discord and playing with Clay and with Brain Dane in the Discord and having a blast playing some Genshin until Dale gets on and we do some Fortnite dailies and then back to Genshin. It's been a good time. Making me happy.
Fair enough. I mean, a game doesn't earn a reputation like Genshin without being good. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it really did forge a path for itself, and its staying power. Didn't it just have its third anniversary or fourth anniversary?
Yeah, they're in 3.6 at this point. So
cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Genshin. Yeah. Here's the thing about Genshin: it's free to play and it's gorgeous, but that is a dangerous combination because it probably means you're going to spend I don't know, how soon until you pawn your couch?
Oh, I mean, they're coming to pick it up later today.
Okay, great.
Just make sure to take the dog off it before they take it. That would be a shame.
Oh, no. That's why they're taking it. I've got rid of the dog.
Okay. Yikes.
The couch goes with the dog.
Oh no! I will say that I played probably about 5 or 10 hours of it, right when it first came out, and I kind of was thankfully I didn't keep playing it. And part of the reason I just don't like those gacha games. I just don't like fusing materials 1,000 swords into one thing and stuff like that. I also was oh, this is gonna be Breath of the Wild, and it just wasn't. I also had a tough time trying to wrap my head around the elemental fusions and stuff. Anyways, I'm glad I didn't play it, but at some point I might drop back in and give it another shot. I actually, on that note, was thinking about going back in and giving Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis another go because it scratches a similar itch. Although I had no idea what was going on in that game at all. So
I still have it updated on my computer if you want to play.
Yeah, I don't have it downloaded anywhere anymore. So.
Yeah.
But
I haven't logged in months, but I would love to play.
Yeah.
My highlight of the week was that last night, Ange, myself, and Tubbs all went to see the Mountain Goats.
Nice.
Which, if you are unaware, that's a band, but they're called the Mountain Goats, and they are absolutely incredible. And the opener had probably the best line to describe them if you are unfamiliar with them. He was having a conversation with God while on mushrooms, and God was like, "Nothing makes you happy." And the opener said, "That's not true. Their name is Adim, the artist. The Mountain Goats make me happy." And God replied back, "No, the Mountain Goats just make you think that other people might be as sad as you are."
Oh, okay. That's really good.
Yeah, and it's dead on, but they're like, it's amazing. They capture like hopefulness and sorrow and also rage perfectly in a show that is mostly headlined by a guy in an acoustic guitar. So if you haven't checked out the Mountain Goats and you like folk, punky indie kind of stuff, do so. They are absolutely incredible.
Now, was there a jug band?
Unfortunately, there was no jug band. I wish that there was, but there was a lot of saxophone featured. They toured with a saxophonist, and they put some horns into songs that otherwise don't have horns in them, and that was a great treat.
Very cool.
Nice.
I love when live performances give you it's a different feel than the album, and you get like that. It just makes it worth it. It's not just like they're playing a track and you're like, oh, I could have listened to this at home, but now I get fun lights.
Yep,
100%. 100%.
So Brody, what's yours?
Awesome. Yeah, mine. So I will say this, that like I had a really big week, not this past week, but the week before, because it was my birthday week and a lot of really cool shit happened. So the week after was full of like very normal things, and that's fine. But it means that like coming up with a highlight was a little bit rough, after this. But so honestly, one of the best things that happened to me last week was that I was able to get a new camera stand for my remote board game sessions that I host. So I have talked previously on the podcast that like once the pandemic hit, because it was literally like right as I was starting to get into the board game hobby, and social interaction and stuff just went out the window. And one of the ways that I kept in touch with some of my best friends from high school that live in various areas of the country, Georgia, Massachusetts, like Washington, D.C., was by hosting these remote board game sessions. And so like over the years, my kit and stuff has evolved. It started being like a glass tabletop with a bunch of tubs like suspended in midair, and I would move a camera phone above the game board, and that's how it started. And that was terrible. So I eventually bought like a webcam with a mount. And so I just finally upgraded my mount itself, the camera stand, to like a really cool 3-section stand that has like, I don't even know what you call it, but there's like it's like a ball joint that's like tension set. So it gives you a ton of freedom with like the angles and stuff. So you can, if I want to highlight like a certain square in Zombicide, because we're still playing Zombicide, we'll always be playing some version of Zombicide, I think. But you can you can kind of easily like do some twisting and turning and get like right down on a couple of zones or squares, which is pretty neat. So I love this thing. I physically broke my last camera stand. It was really poorly made, and the clamp that secures the stand to the bottom of my desk dug in, and it wouldn't. It was so bent that I had to use a hammer to actually take it out, and it took a chunk of my table with it. So luckily, it was a piece of crap table that it was a hand me down for like 3 family members or something. The table's like 60 years old, has stains and chunks and stuff out of it. But anyways, new camera stand's awesome. I'm going to use it a ton. I like it so far. And yeah, it's going to enable me to keep doing these remote sessions.
Very cool.
It's always crazy how such a like small thing can make something like that so much better, Well, like you think like, oh, I get a new camera stand, and it's like, who cares? But no, the way you described it, it's like, this is awesome for you.
Yeah, well, and again, like like back in the day when I had to have like my table with fucking plastic tubs or rubber tubs on it, right? And like had to move a phone around and hope I didn't run out of battery, and like it just was such a pain in the ass. So like for sure, little stuff like this does make a huge difference. So yeah, I've loved it.
Also, when you said, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ganny.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what version of Zombicide are you playing now?
So we're just about to wrap up the Wolfsburg expansion for Black Plague. Each level takes us probably like 3 sessions, which is why it's been drawn out this long. After this, we're going to Invader, which is the one that you have, and we're going to play through Invader. And I think Pat has Dark Side, so we're going to be doing Invader and Dark Side.
Cool.
And then I've got the Western version, and I just backed White Death, which is the new version that they just announced on Kickstarter. So
we're waiting for our Marvel version coming in still.
I do have Marvel coming in too. Thanks for reminding me. I was in phase 2 though, so you probably
me
were
too.
well.
Phase 2.
Yep,
should be coming
we'll get
soon.
there. Fun game though. Still love it.
Cool. So also one other thing I wanted to point out is when you said that you quote physically destroyed the mount, it made you sound way more badass than the rest of the story did. I thought you like Office Space, like elbow dropped it, and, like I took it out to a field.
I definitely had a hammer and just beat the shit out of it until it came off my table. It did feel kind of badass. It also felt kind of bad because of the damage it did to my table, but it is what it is.
Fair enough. Speaking of hammer, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but the hammer is the first Mario power-up. So we're going to have to go think about it. Donkey Kong, hammer.
Okay. All right.
Right? So we have to go way back in time to think about that. And so today we're going to go back in time just a couple of weeks, and we're going to roll out the first installment of something that we are calling the Super B-Sides. Previously on SuperOK, we took a serious, measured look at Mario and his games. It really was a meticulous investigation. One might even use the word scrutiny. But the Mario franchise is far too big to just cover it in one episode. Today, we are going to continue our serious conversation with a totally serious episode.
It's very serious.
Our first very serious question. Ultrasaurus. You can't be an IP this legendary without spinning off in 1,000 different directions. We're talking sports games, racing games, puzzle games, Tiger handheld games, board games, both physical and digital, Lego, TV series, movies, foods, all sorts of weird stuff. Talk Mario, theme parks. Talk to me.
Yeah, when I think serious Mario, I think Mario Dark Souls, and that's what gets it going for me. No, but for real, I like. We cut the chaff. This conversation was with 4 people before we cut the chaff. They're down to 3 now.
Here to defend itself.
That's why I'm saying it. Checking to see if he listens. All right. For me, one of their new things that I've really enjoyed is the Mario Lego. It's fun to like have a physical. I liked collecting amiibos and things like that, but it's fun to merge these 2 loves of mine. We have Bowser's Castle up on the wall, and I got the NES upstairs that I've been holding on to because I'm waiting for like the perfect time to build it. But the app inclusion of what they do and like how you can turn these playsets into the Mario levels and have some fun with my kids it's a blast. I also really liked they did that Mario like kart AR thing.
Oh yeah,
have you guys played that before?
No,
it's really fun. We've put it away because we have to play it downstairs, and that's where Rocky likes to live. So yeah, it's not great to play the go-kart game with the dog, but it's a really fun experience, and those are 2 of my current highlights of the Mario IP.
Now, from a Lego standpoint, I have questions because there's 2 different things that they're doing with the Nintendo stuff, right?
Yep.
They're doing like the really complex, like showcase pieces, like the NES.
Mm-hmm.
But are you talking about like the other one where it's like the Mario has a speaker and like when he hits a question mark block, it'll give you like a coin or a power up?
Yeah. So I have both. The play structure one, like that's more focused on the play. The second one you described, I'm experiencing that now with my kids, and that's what's been really fun of like hopping Mario along and like having him jump on Bowser's back and like getting a coin and kind of expanding those sets. I'm excited to see, because Charlie loved the Mario movie. We talked last that she was going to go see it. She and I, we had a blast watching it. And she got a little Luigi plush when I went to a going away party at like a Dave and Buster's style place, and had enough tickets to get a little Luigi and Toad, and she's just been carrying those things around.
That's amazing.
So it's been great.
Nice.
But she has such an interest in them now that it's been a great way to share it with her.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. I must have been an asshole kid, because if there was a thing when I was a kid where you could jump on Bowser's back, I would have been so upset that it was inaccurate, because he's got the spikes. So
funny.
Total dweeb. But ironically, thing that I loved as a kid and still love to this day was the original Mario Brothers Super Show with Captain Lou Albano. It was all-time great. However, I refuse to go back and watch it because I do not want to sully my childhood memories. I'm really worried about like Lou Albano like making some sort of like weird homophobic reference that I didn't get as a kid, but I'll hear it as an adult. It's like, so if it sucks now, don't tell me, please. Just let me live in blissful ignorance. Also, I am not sure if they still make these, but there used to be these Super Mario gummies that had like really, really like high quality sculpts and flavor. And they were like dense. They were denser than a regular gummy. And it felt like the flavors were oversaturated. And I love them. And I haven't seen them in years. I'm not sure if they're still out there. I'm not sure if they're still being made. But they were so absolutely incredible that I had to like, I'm shouting out a gummy candy on our video game podcast. And if you see them, you should buy them. They're that good.
Yeah, I totally remember those, Dale. Those were fucking awesome. I had forgotten until just now, but yeah, I've definitely had those. And you're right, they were like the more dense, and they had like almost like a little bit of texture to them instead of just being totally gummy.
Yeah.
But
when did those come out?
Man, I don't know, like 10 years ago, 25 years, sometime
early
in the
90s,
past.
I think.
Okay. I was just asking. I didn't know if this was like from your childhood, if this was pre-teeth, post-teeth. Like I didn't know where we were.
I purchased them with my own money. So it was sometime after 1996. I used
traded. I bartered my teeth for them. Also, Gannon, I almost jumped in, but the whole Rocky situation, Genshin's going to take care of that, so you'll be able to play in the basement a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The couch will be gone. We'll have so much more area to play the game.
Thanks, Genshin.
Stupid. I love it.
But for my side, so I mean, I was one of those kids that grew up, and when I was really young, I used to watch Captain N and all the kind of little spin-off satellite shows. I did watch the Super Mario Super Show a little bit, but the one that I remember was from Captain N. And also, I totally forgot that there was a cartoon that was exclusively based on Mario 3. But I think that they took all kinds of liberties, and I think that they even called Bowser like Super Koopa or something like that in that show.
Yeah.
But it's another one of the, I think your assessment was spot on, Dale. Is it like the last thing I want to do is go and ruin it for myself by going back and realizing that like there's a potential for all, or it could be totally poorly written or not funny or just all kinds of shit like that. Not to mention the toxicity that's likely there. But I mean, from a game perspective, obviously, it's hard to not talk about things like Mario Kart that have been really just instrumental. I talk about Toadstool Tour all the time about how much I fucking love that game. It's hard to give Mario Party a shout out anymore. I feel like, I used to really love that. And the more I've come to appreciate board games, I just am like, this is roll to move. And then you just do mini games every once in a while. And it's not a very, like, it tries. But that's it. It's Mario. It tries the board game.
Mario Party has been bullshit forever, and I'll go to my grave saying that.
Yeah, I only realized it recently, but you're right. It's true.
The mini games are fun.
Mini games are great.
You can just like play the mini games, and that's the beauty in the new ones, right? Is you can just play mini bit games. You don't have to do the roll bullshit.
Yes,
fair.
Yes,
fair.
All right, on to our next super serious question. Who's your favorite non-Mario franchise character. And I'm going to go first on this one because before the Mario movie, my answer was definitely Dry Bones. There is something about the like falling apart and then getting back up again that's very Eeyore-esque, right? And Dry Bones is great because like a single Dry Bones just on like a flat area is like nothing. But depending on the like level and where it appears and that sort of thing, it can start to be legitimately terrifying. Like, oh, I've got to like juggle all these different Dry Bones that are moving around. Plus, they're like adorable in like a kind of like this is spooky but not really spooky kind of way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the sound effect of them falling apart is iconic.
That
right?
was
It's so good.
like it.
However, I saw the Mario movie. And my new answer is the Blue Luma, who I did some research on, and they have named it her Luma Lee. And I love her so much, and I refuse to spoil why. You should go see the movie.
That's a good answer. I like that answer. Man, I didn't even think about incorporating the movie or anything outside of it to have gone with it. But for me, I've reflected a lot. Since our last episode, I had some time to reflect on what Mario means to me. And I realized that my first Mario game was actually the Super Nintendo. I got Super Nintendo pretty late in the cycle. I think I've talked about that in the past. And that was like, I had a Sega Genesis. That was the game, the game console that we had for the longest time. And then I finally got a Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo was bundled at the time with the Super Mario World 2, which is a weird thing to say because it's not a Super Mario World game at all, but Yoshi's Island.
Oh, right.
So I gotta go back. As we talk more through the episode, I realized that was kind of the defining Mario game for me. And so I gotta go with my OG Yoshi. I just love Yoshi. He makes me so happy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's adorable.
I mean, he's a classic. I think for me, honestly, it's kind of a toss-up between two characters. I've always loved, I think they did a good job of kind of evolving. I know that comes in contrast with the fact that I just said I've always loved, and then I'm like, no, not really. I think that they've done a really good job of evolving Bowser over the years, and throughout the various different games of like sometimes making him your ally. I mean, he's not really that much of a villain, like for the most part. Like they've just done a really good job of fleshing out that character. I do also want to kind of give a shout out to Rosalina, and the reason why is for a couple reasons. Number one is it's super hard to add new characters to a franchise after it's been established for that long, and Rosalina was added pretty late in the cycle, and Rosalina and the Lumas obviously, and they kind of have skipped over the fact that she's like insanely fucking powerful and is almost like kind of a god in the Mario universe. You know, and she's struggling through difficulties and stuff. And like, you know, you still help her out. You get an opportunity to help her out. So I just really thought that was kind of neat. And, you know, I have not seen the movies, but just the Lumas themselves are adorable and they can create fucking galaxies. They have like complete creation power, which is absolutely amazing. All you have to do is feed them enough Starbits, and they explode with snacky happiness. So
yeah, but they explode to do it. I just realized that those are micro big bangs that are happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
the whole
wild.
Like Mario Galaxy canon and stuff is just absolutely insane. I do want to take a time out here just for a second. So you guys have both seen the movie. Could you guys give a couple spoiler-free thoughts about what you thought about the movie? Do you recommend going to see it? Like, I'm going to go see it eventually. I love the franchise too much. I just haven't seen it yet.
So my thought is that it is a fantastic kids movie with a lot of references that adults will love. But if you go into it with the expectation of like, I relate it a lot back to the Lego movie. When I saw the Lego movie, I was expecting a kids movie and I was blown away by an awesome like film. I think that this is I went into it with that expectation. I think that this is a great kids movie with a lot of fun things for adults. but it is still mostly a kids movie based on pacing and timing and things like that. So if you go into it with an expectation of, I'm going to go watch an awesome kids movie in a world that I'm excited for, like I'm excited to see how this is brought to the next generation, then you're going to love it. But if you go into it thinking that it's going to be like the biggest like Mario fanboy, like, oh, I'm going to just like really nerd out over all the different things that, I mean, there is a lot to nerd out over, but it's not focused towards the people who played Mario at the beginning of the life cycle of Mario. It's focused on the next generation.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I would say that this is it was a very, very good children's film. That said, it's not like it is not, there's very little bowl winking, right? There's very little like this part's for the adults. Like that's almost not in there at all. But it's still a great movie, and it's still a good Mario origin story, and it's still like it establishes the film universe really, really well. So I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, based on how successful it's been, that they're going to do another one. But honestly, I could see them doing like 8 more, like just based on what they've done here. They could land before time this shit. Like they could very easily just make a bunch of these.
We're gonna have a new MCU.
Well, that's about what I was about to ask is, do you think you guys could see either the studio or whatnot that handled this potentially handling other Nintendo IPs if they wanted to go in that direction?
Definitely. I mean, this is the same studio that made like Despicable Me and all the Minions movies. So they'll make a franchise out of fucking anything. And at least this is one where it's like ripe for it.
Right on.
So.
Right on. Well, cool. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to watch it eventually.
Yeah, it's great. Highly recommend it. I gave it like an 8 out of 10. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but there are some really cool parts.
Nice.
Yeah. So what are some of your guys' favorite levels or environments in Mario games? What do you like?
So for me, it's both of them that I picked are ones that are like, well, I picked 3 actually, but 2 of them are emblematic of like where I think they could go with the Mario games. And so the first one I'll say is the level Sprawling Savannah from Mario's 3D World. And the reason I really like that is not only is it just like a pretty level in and of itself, but I think that like for levels like that made me realize that they could do something like Mario Odyssey, and eventually did, because that was like a more open world take on a Mario level. And Mario 3D World was like, as we talked about in a previous episode, more of a like classic stages based Mario game. But that one level was like different, in my opinion. It felt so different than all the rest of the levels that it really, when Mario Odyssey came out and I played it, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. Speaking of Mario Odyssey, I'm kind of replaying that a little bit on the side. I'm replaying like 9 games I've played a million years ago, and this is one of them. And the Seaside Kingdom just makes me so happy that it's just so nice. It's just like I would go on vacation there. Like I absolutely love it. And then my final shout out is going to be just the world the small little world they created for Bowser's Fury. That's another thing where like, it's just one open world that you just go around to the different areas and you earn these cat shines and stuff. But like they could totally do a more open world, a less linear take on Mario, and by incorporating some of those ideas. And I think, using the Bowser events to like allow you to change the world a little bit, I think that's fascinating. And I really think they could do excellent things with it. And like, I think that in and of itself, it was a really cool contained world.
Yeah. Very cool.
For me, it's gonna go back to some of the OG Super Nintendo ones. I mean, Yoshi's Island's Flower Garden. I just love the music from that, and I like the aesthetic overall. The music just makes me feel really happy. And as I've been like thinking more about it and like listening to some things regarding the Mario, I think that's where a lot of my stuff comes down to for my love of Mario is their sound design. So another one's going to go for Donut Plains in Super Mario World, where if you first get the feather power up and you're able to fly, and like you could, I'll talk more about it in a bit, but it's those are probably my 2 number 1 like levels that I've just enjoyed because they the Mario Donut Plains just opened up a new world of Mario of like, oh my goodness, like this is the coolest new power up that I've ever seen. And then Yoshi's Island it's just a happy place.
Yeah. I recently got my Xbox Series S set up to do emulation, and I've been playing only games that I purchased. FBI, don't come at me. Also, I guess Nintendo, because Nintendo is likely to actually send someone to my house if they hear this, and we know they're listening. But getting to Donut Plains for the first time and getting the cape, and just like it opens up so much of that game. That's a great call out. I want to call out Big World in Mario 3 or Giant Land, I think they call it, where it's just like big enemies, big power ups. And even the Hammer Bros are like the Sledge Bros. They're like the big guys. Like it was just so wild. I want to call out also the weird puzzle levels. I know a lot of the 3D Mario games have these, but I want to call them out specifically in Sunshine, where the evil Mario snatches your FLUDD backpack. So you have to navigate them with just Mario's normal moveset. I always love doing those. Brody apparently hates them. He is giving a thumbs down.
I hated them. Yep.
Why?
I don't know. Like I would rather, like, for example, I love those version of the levels that came out in Mario Galaxy, and I played absolutely all of them, but I don't know. It just was such a different take on kind of the game that I didn't like. And plus they were hard as fuck.
I see. That's what I like about them. They were completely optional, incredibly difficult challenges, right? And that's a level of difficulty that you oftentimes, unless it's the lost levels, you don't get in a Mario game. So I really enjoyed that. It allowed me to show like it forced me, in fact, to show mastery over Mario's movement, and I thought that was really cool. And then the last one I want to call out, just from like a visual stimuli standpoint, is Rainbow Road, right? Rainbow Road always looks awesome. It's always just like a really cool aesthetic. Oftentimes they suck to drive on, but like the look of the levels is always really cool.
I actually almost answered Rainbow Road because I love the juxtaposition of like a beautiful, gorgeous track and then just the frustration of how much you run off of it, or you just completely screw yourself over and you just get fucked over. Yeah,
that's fair. I will say that I think what they did with it in Mario Kart 8 was wonderful, and they may have done it a little bit earlier, but they changed the theming a little bit so that it was like space themed. But they also did the like, we're going to do segments instead of a lap, which I thought that was good. I thought that really felt like they could make the track long, like it normally is, but not obnoxious.
Yeah, nice. What's your guys' favorite Mario power up?
So I'm going to go based off my last question, right? I love the feather from Super Mario World. Like the Tanuki, is it the Tanuki seat from the Mario 3? Is that what they call that one?
So there's the raccoon and the
raccoon.
Tanuki.
Yeah, that's the leaf, right?
Yeah, the leaf. Yeah. So the leaf was the first time that I remember flying, but the flight of Super Mario World and like the fact that you could do the whole nosedive and like if you hit the ground the whole screen shook and it made that great like thump noise, and then when you wanted to bounce back up and get further, you got that wonderful like boing sound each time you did it. I love that, and I loved in Donut Plains where you went down into the little pipe and then you had all of those coins to like really like test out your flying skills and see how many coins you could get in that short amount of time in the little subset section of Donut Plains if you went in the right green pipe, and that always just made me so happy when I played the game.
Right on.
Yeah, that is a very good call out. And it leads directly into mine, which is actually the Tanuki suit from Mario 3. So you mentioned the leaf. The red leaf turns you into a raccoon, but the green leaf that you can only get through like the toad houses and that sort of thing turns you into the Tanuki, which has all of the powers of the regular raccoon suit, and also the ability to turn yourself into a statue who is invulnerable for some reason. Right. And I loved it because I have accidentally killed myself becoming a statue so many times, and it is never not funny. It is funny every single time. And it was like cool because it was useful on certain levels where it's like, oh, I don't want to have to deal with jumping out of lava that's going up and down the screen. I'll just turn into a statue, and then the lava's gone, and now I'm not a statue anymore, and I can run away. I absolutely just the like weird strategy that it added into the game. I thought was absolutely incredible, and it doesn't hurt that it is also an amazing item in Binding of Isaac. They pretty much directly ported it over into Binding of Isaac, where if you have the item and you stand still for a certain amount of time, you just become an invulnerable statue. And it's just like, oh, this is great. I'll let my meat boy or whatever kill stuff. So it's good in 2 games.
Nice. I didn't know that they ported it over to Binding of Isaac. That's awesome. So I'm gonna go with another one that kind of feels like cheating in the game that it's in, and that's gonna be like the cat suits in Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Well, I guess Dale did give the delineation of the different type of leaf, different type of Tanuki suit. I guess I'll have to go the like red bell from Bowser's Fury, which is just like the cat suit, but whenever you do a ground stomp, it just gives you coins all the way down for some reason.
That's wild.
It is. It's absolutely wild. But it just always feels like cheating because it's like I could just run up the fucking wall of this thing, or it feels like you're breaking the game, but it's not. It's never not fun, and you never actually do. It only kind of tricks you into thinking that you can. But I don't know. I think the catsuit, especially since you can still get power-ups like the propeller block hat thing at the same time, so you can like run up a wall like a lot and then jump off and do the propeller hat and go like way up in the air. I think it's just too versatile. Such a great addition.
And it's fucking cute.
It is pretty cute. Yeah.
God, I got a little cat suit Peach and a cat suit Mario amiibo. Love them both.
That's awesome.
I was always a fan. I'm not a cat person, right? But I was always a fan of Bumblebee Mario. Like that's pretty adorable.
Mario. Well, and B Mario was also like it felt good because it was challenging to time when you were playing Mario Galaxy and you had to use B Mario, but like yes, it was adorable, and yes, it was fun.
Yeah,
good call.
Great. Speaking of adorable, here's a hot debate. Toad's mushroom part on top of his body, is that his hat or his head?
I mean, I guess I'll go first on this one so nobody's jumping in. So I'd like to believe that it's a hat.
Wrong.
And specifically,
wrong.
Oh, apparently it's wrong o'clock.
Oh, sorry. Wrong o'clock is happening right now. My grandfather clock in the back is going. No.
No, please explain yourself, though.
Oh, no, I just like to believe that it's a hat, and that's where he keeps his mushrooms when he's out foraging. So he opens it up, new mushroom.
You're telling me in the 30 plus years of the Mario franchise, Toad has never taken off his hat?
I mean, okay. Probably, I guess not.
It's his head.
I think it's also his head. They're mushrooms. Toads are mushrooms, right? It's the mushroom kingdom. That's part of them. If you remove the cap off a mushroom, it dies.
Okay.
I guess technically anything is a hat if you pull it hard enough.
I think we just gotta move on.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Okay. What's everyone's favorite and least favorite Mario enemy to fight? This isn't like an aesthetics thing or like I think they're cool. It's like you see them in a level and you're like, oh, I like those guys. Or I don't.
Point of clarification: that is not what the question says. The question says favorite and least favorite Mario enemy. There's no fight. Don't put your interpretation on it.
I mean, we did clarify that before the episode in verbal communication, but no, that's fine. Call me out while we're recording. Please give us your answer.
We did not do that.
Anyways, hey guys, I'll go ahead and go first. I chose the same enemy for both because I think they could both be really cool and really shitty. And so the ones that I'll pick are the boos. And the reason why is because when you encounter them for the first time, it's just kind of a neat idea and a neat concept, and you learn the mechanics and stuff. I think the first time that you encounter them is in Mario 3D World, if I recall correctly, but anyways, they probably encounter them earlier than that. Anyways,
Yeah, probably.
the like ghost houses and stuff in Mario 3D World, pretty fun, but also they're so infuriating at times. The way that they like the giant ones can creep up on you if you're not paying attention. Like those mechanics are simultaneously very cool and totally fucking suck. So it's boos for both for me.
Fair enough.
Well, apparently I missed the memo. I was having some issues that I was taking care of when this conversation happened. So I'm sorry, everyone. My answer is not what the question was originally intended. Dale,
that's okay.
I apologize.
Just drop
my answer.
Answer your question, man.
Is people want to know the answer. I got to give them the build up.
Oh, okay.
Shy Guy. I love Shy Guy. I love him from an aesthetic purpose. I love fighting him. Because when you bounce on him, he goes like it's just a fun noise. I love it. It makes me so happy.
Now, how do you feel about the Shy Guys that shoot the bullet?
Ooh, yeah. That's a little more frustrating. It's a little more frustrating because the bullets they're a little too small to see sometimes for me if you're sitting far enough away. I also like Kamek. I think that's how you say his name. I'm always bad at how to pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure it's Kamek, and he was almost my pick also.
Yeah. I love because once again, a lot of this all goes back to Mario or Yoshi's Island for me. Like he has his powers in there, and like you get to see it's got like the triangle, square, circle, like spinning attack, and it's such a cool like version of magic. I think I really like that geometric like attack.
Who's your least favorite?
Probably Cheeps. Fucking dick sucking lips.
Oh, geez. Okay, moving on. My favorite is the Koopalings. I think it was cool to have like real boss fights in a Mario game. They all like had different mechanics and all of that. And so I really enjoy that. Plus, they're all named after cool musicians, and I think that was really awesome. Brody cannot contain himself.
Well, are you sure you didn't have these backwards? It sounds like you might be your favorite.
Why would you put that on a fish?
Dude, the worst part about it is my least favorite is the big fish that can swallow you whole. It might be the throat goat, but I hate that thing because it always bummed me out when I saw it at a level.
Unlike the Mario movie, this episode is not for kids.
No,
I would love for our listenership to go up as a result of this. That would really tell us a lot about the world.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, anyway, I hate that guy.
Holy fuck.
He'll eat you and Yoshi one swallow? Are you kidding me? Come on, get out of here. Anyway, I gotta get this back on track. What is your personal favorite non-Mario franchise game? I'm gonna go with WarioWare. I love the chaotic nature of the games. They're my kind of weird. They're just awesome. You never get bored. They're just like game after game after game. Somebody else, please go.
I like Wario too. I really like Wario Land on the Game Boy. It was one of my like favorite games to play. He ran through everything. He's so fucking burly and masculine and just beating down walls. It's great. I love him.
Oh no. Well, I haven't made my obscene joke yet, so I guess I got to get it out of the way. Mine is probably the game where the phrase is uttered, "Help me, step bro, I'm stuck in the warp pipe." Actually, so I'm going to have to go. You
could have just said the word Gooigi, and that would have been fine. You didn't need to go there.
Fair. Okay, fair enough. Speaking of Luigi's Mansion 3 is a great game. I highly recommend it. It's got some great puzzles. It's wonderful. Good for the whole family.
It is really fun. I really like that one. It's got some great co-op. Like the fact that you like to make the Gooigi like go through the bars and stuff to like get behind stuff is really cool. I think they've added some really fun mechanics in Luigi's Mansion with the inclusion of multiplayer. Then like the whole tower, like the mansion, like tower thing you can do. Like that's really fun.
Yeah. Ooh, Scare Scraper, right?
I wouldn't know.
Scream Scraper? I don't know.
Would you guys rather ride in Lakital's Cloud or Bowser Jr.'s Flying Clown Cup?
I mean, guys, we gotta pick the Cloud, right? It's got like infinite storage. It could fly anywhere. In fact, I'm gonna make the argument that this is probably the like most underpowered for some reason enemy in the entire franchise. Like, why isn't he way more of a threat than he is? He's like the only thing that he just naturally has free flight, and we know that he's got like infinite storage for the spiny eggs, and we know he carries that camera with him at all times. Mario 64, we know it. It's always in there.
You know, I mean, I get part of what you're saying, but you're forgetting the sun. The sun is so powerful. Right, he flies around, is so powerful.
Yeah.
No, like, that's the flight monster you don't want to mess around with.
Okay, so Soul, the actual star, that's the server split system.
That one sucks. But I mean, once again, Brody, I'm sorry to disagree with you all episode, but goddamn, no, the Clown Cup is where you go. Like, it's iconic. It's fucking like people are scared of clowns too. Like Bowser is not a very scary person, but like you see a flying clown head come to you in the night, and like it would just be so fun to just be flying around in that thing, like causing people to piss their pants.
I'm going to have to sadly agree with Gannon here. I think it's the Clown Cup easy. And the reason for that is the cloud runs out after a while once a hero gets into it, right? It like fades, you fall, you could be over a pit and die. The clown is forever. Remember that when you're trying to sleep. The clown is
forever.
Yes.
100%.
All right. I am incredibly afraid of this question after the direction that we've gone in previous questions, but I'm going to ask it anyways. If you could eat one thing from the Mario franchise, what would it be?
Nobody wants to answer this question. I love it. I'm gonna go for it. Oh God, I had a really. Never mind. So it's either got to be the fruit in Super Mario World that Yoshi eats. Like, I don't know, those things just look delicious. Or I think that some like the big soup pot in Mario Odyssey's Luncheon Kingdom. I know. Sorry, we've got a chat going on the side, and it is full of some vile stuff. Any hoodle. Yeah, it's gonna be those.
Dale, please, can you elaborate?
No, I won't. I'm going to instead just say, I want you to imagine the absolute terror that I could cause with just a single mega mushroom. I want to be a kaiju, baby. I want to be able to just like kick buildings down, like do a big swat of like traffic on the expressway, just like gone.
You just wanted to
yeet them into the sun.
Violence against randos. Like, what?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
This episode is going to get taken down at some point.
For me, it's always been, oh man, the root beer that Mario hands out just looks so freaking good. Like it looks really tasty. Like he's sliding it down the bar, and like you get your root beer, and like all the customers are super happy. Like it just makes me.
You're talking really from root beer tapper.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell me that's not Mario. Tell me that Midway game is not that's not Mario. Look at him.
I mean, it depends on the version, but yeah, it's Mario.
It's Mario.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So for our listeners who aren't aware, Waluigi is an actor whose real name is Jimmy Papadopoulos, and he was hired by Wario to be his friend and partner in Mario Tennis, and then fell completely into the role. We covered this in one of our game show episodes a million years ago. But that whole origin story, and this is real, by the way, it was explained in a Nintendo Power, so it is like from an official Nintendo source. But that suggests that there is a somewhat normal world somewhere, which may or may not be bolstered by Mario is Missing, Hotel Mario, Metro Kingdom from Mario Odyssey. So what do you think about that? Like, is Mario just a regular human? Is he like a different thing? Like, what's the deal, man?
I mean, dude, wasn't the way that this was handled in like the Super Mario Super Show going all the way back? Like, he was just a random guy that like went down this warp pipe, and now he's like in the animated universe. It was like some like Who Framed Roger Rabbit sort of deal, right? So, I mean, I think it's got to be something like that. But although the Metro Kingdom really kind of brings that back and like, oh yeah, it's just gonna, just a city. It's just here. You can just go visit it. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, both of the movies confirmed that Mario is in some sort of isekai anime where he is transported to an otherworldly thing. So I think he is a normal dude. Just like I think we talked about it in our last episode where where Luigi's looking for Mario's missing. I think that also confirms that Mario's and Luigi are in just normal dudes in a normal world, and they got pulled in.
Just real quick for those of us who haven't played hours of Genshin Impact, what does isekai mean?
Isekai it's a type of anime that is like the protagonist is always transported to the other world, like your Yu Yu Hakusho, your Bleach, all the different things where like there's another world that it just like they are now brought into a new, like the world is completely different because there's been a subworld that no one ever knew about before.
Okay, cool. My answer is I think Mario's just like a short guy and he fell into the wild world, right? I mean, like Mushroom or Metro Kingdom in Mario Odyssey confirms this, right? Like he's walking around, he's half the height of all of the other humans. He's just like a short guy. And he's like, I stand my short kings is what I'm saying here. So yeah. Like everyone else is taller than him in Odyssey. Peach is taller than like even in original Super Mario Brothers, if you rescue Peach as normal Mario, not as Super Mario, like she's twice the height you are.
Okay.
True.
All right. Fair.
Cool.
I wonder if the people in the Metro Kingdom are ever like, oh, who's this guy? He's clearly not going to the same meeting as everybody else. Because doesn't everybody in Metro Kingdom look like they're on their way to like some really, really boring office job?
That or they're musicians.
True. Okay. Good call. That is accurate.
But if I saw someone who was the exact same proportions as me, but half my height, but able to jump 5 times my height, I would have questions. Yeah.
But doesn't it have like freakishly large hands? And feet?
Yeah, probably.
I haven't really noticed. Is it?
You're probably right. They look good on Mario, but that's because we've been looking at Mario for this long, right? We're just used to it at this point. You might be right. Also, he can throw his hat and become like electricity, so that's fucking crazy too.
Details.
All right, so it is time. We have arrived at our last question. Somehow we made it through this absolute clustercat of an episode. But you know what time it is on our last question? Time for a sponsored question. This one is sponsored by Jail.
We're all going to it after this episode.
Yeah, probably. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 coins. Go directly to jail. And by that, there's some breaking news out of the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario has been arrested. Now, based on what you know about all of Mario's history, what was he arrested for? And if convicted, what would his sentence be?
So I'm going to gloss over the like straight up war crimes that Mario commits like on a really casual basis against like, Koopas and Goombas that probably don't have any part in what Bowser's doing. I don't think literally everybody's enlisted in the army. But we're going to glaze over that. I'm just going to go straight up larceny. All right. Because he's going to these other kingdoms. He's going to these other places and he's taking everybody's shit. He's taking everybody's money. He's taking like all their power ups and stuff like that. He's breaking people's stuff. Mario is going to get arrested. He has been arrested, sorry, for larceny. If he's convicted, his sentence is going to be. I should have really thought about the second half of this question that I wrote. He's going to have to live inside of a cheap for 2 years.
Oh God!
Oh no!
Well, that might be too enjoyable.
2 years? What?
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable anymore.
Just now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
The thought of living inside of a cheap, just I don't like it. Fish, weird, yuck. They're all slimy. So I'm gonna have to go with. I mean, larceny's great, but like, what's gonna get people in up in arms? It's the child abuse. Like,
Oh jeez,
the dude is out there beating up on Bowser's kids all the time. Like, he beats up on Bowser's kids. He literally mounts Yoshi the moment it hatches out of a shell.
That is true.
Like the thing is barely born, and he just jumps on it and just starts riding it around and like punching it in the back of the head so that it can shoot out its tongue so it can eat the poor Koopas. So yeah, I'm gonna go with child abuse, and he's gonna get 69 years.
Oh jeez,
nice.
Okay, so this is a question we didn't ask during the episode, but when Mario asks in heavy quotation marks, Yoshi to use his tongue, is he pointing or is he punching?
It's 100% punching.
Yeah.
Like, the noise, right? Like, you hear like that, like, like that's the noise you make when you fucking punch someone in the back of the head.
Oh Jesus. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Not as terrible as my answer, though, which is straight up fucking genocide. If you look in the manual for the original Super Mario Brothers, it mentions, and I quote, "The quiet, peace-loving people of the Mushroom Kingdom were turned into mere stones, bricks, and horsehair plants, and the kingdom fell into ruin." That means that throughout all of the various Super Mario Brothers games, every time Mario broke a brick or a block, he has killed an innocent civilian.
Oh shit, it wasn't larceny after all.
The craziest part about this is the game gives you points for doing so. So that shit is twisted. It's like absolutely insane. Every block that you broke in Mario Brothers, you were killing a person.
That's pretty fucked up.
But if they were turned into something, weren't they already dead?
No, because the quest. Hold on, let me think about it.
Because that's important, right? Like,
hold on, let
just
me keep reading this.
That's like
you could be quiet if you're dead, but I don't know if you could be peace loving.
I'll keep reading from the manual. The only one who can undo the magic spell on the mushroom people and return them to their normal selves is the Princess Toadstool, the daughter of the Mushroom King. Unfortunately, she is presently in the hands of the Great Koopa Turtle King. Mario, the hero of the story, maybe, hears about the Mushroom people's plight and sets out on a quest to free the Mushroom Princess from the evil Koopa and restore the fallen kingdom of the Mushroom people. You are Mario. It's up to you to save the Mushroom people from the black magic of the Koopa.
Has the Mushroom King ever been in anything, by the way?
No. Absolutely insane that the Mushroom King has not been in anything. But also, Peach apparently knows a spell to turn them back from being bricks. So no, every time you blow one up, Peach casts the spell, and now suddenly there's entrails everywhere.
It's just fucking guts all over the place.
It's wild.
Oh shit, I was too late.
And of course, go ahead.
There actually was the Mushroom King in the Nintendo comic system. I found a picture on Wikipedia of him. He looks a little bit like Mario, which is kind of weird. Yeah, but he is only mentioned in that in very few things, but never was in a game.
Put it in the show notes. That way the Patreon subscribers can see it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. But anyway, the answer to his sentence, obviously, I mean, it's fucking genocide. So the sentence is going to be death. However, Mario's a smart fucker, and his last meal was a super mushroom, so he's actually fine. So deal with that, I guess.
Do you think that like the sentencing system, like if they have the death penalty there, can you get like, because we have like multiple life sentences, right? Like, do you think they have multiple death penalties for things getting real bad because of the fact that there are the existence of 1-up mushrooms? You think they like if someone creates like a really bad thing in the mushroom kingdom, like they end up getting killed multiple times? Do they drain all of their lives, or is it just like, no, you committed a real bad crime, you die 4 times?
Oh man, the social implications of this are horrific.
And it's also kind of crazy because you get extra lives based off money. So the existence of billionaires doesn't happen there. You just get multiple lives. Because once you get up to 100 coins, you just get another life.
Yeah, and the coins go away. Shit.
You got something to think about.
Would that be like torture? Like, imagine if you had 99 lives from bouncing on that Koopa shell that Clay talked about, like 4.2 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And so now you're at 99 lives and you're like, oh, I stole a car or whatever. And they're like, all right, that's the penalty for that is 3 lives. And it's like they like get you, they like hurl you into lava, they watch the flesh sear off your bones, and then you come back still screaming on the edge of the pit from the pain that you just endured, and they throw you back into the lava pit again. Like, that's torture, right?
A little bit.
This is like some Prometheus shit where like he gets his liver pecked out over and over again.
Yeah. Man.
God, I hate this.
Yeah.
What have we done?
We've really ruined everything this episode. Like multiple times.
God, man. You know what? I can't take responsibility for it. This is all Dan's fault. Fuck you, Dan.
Oh, very true. Very true.
Yeah. All right. Why don't you tell the people where you can be found?
You can find me in the Discord as Arborescence.
I am in the Discord as Kankface. I hesitate to commit to how much you can find me in there because I was once not in the Discord, and Dale told me I needed to get back in the Discord because I told people on the podcast I'd be there. So I'm sorry if you tried to come to the Discord the other night and I wasn't in there.
Dude, it was
I got a good talking to.
You're fine.
I got a good talking to. But I'm in the Discord. Please don't throw me in the lava.
After this episode, I'm not sure I want people to find me, but I'm a 20-sided ninja everywhere. 20-sided ninjas can be found. Holy shit. If you want to talk about this episode for some reason,
don't
hit us up in the Discord, I guess. You can also hit us up on Twitter for now. I don't know how much longer the SuperOK is going to be on Twitter.
Just remember,
hellscape over there.
The only person you can blame for this episode is both sides, because this is a SuperOK both sides episode.
Oh, yeah. B-sides, both sides. You did this to us. Fuck you, Dan. Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, I hope you all have a SuperOK day after this.
You're never going to look like cheap at the same.
No, it's horrible. All right.
Bye.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.